Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our first annual open enrollment session. We're excited to have you join us today as we review important benefit updates, resources, and tools to help you make informed decisions for the upcoming year. Thank you for taking the time to be here. So let's get started. Here's an overview of the schedule today. Our benefit vendors will be presenting every 15 minutes, so please stay tuned throughout the session. Please keep yourself muted during the Zoom call to minimize background noise and reduce potential distractions for all participants. If you have any questions during the presentations, please feel free to type them in the chat. Michelle will review and address all questions at the end of each presentation. If you have any questions or want more information on anything after this, feel free to reach out to Maureen Leiden or Michelle Labadini in the Human Resources Department. In addition to your health benefits, Norfolk County offers some additional complementary benefits designed to support and enhance your work-life balance. These resources are provided at no cost to you and are easily accessible from the wellness programs, employee assistance services, to professional development tools. We're committed to helping you thrive both at work and at home. Take advantage of these valuable offerings to support your personal and professional well-being. First, we have live yoga classes that are available twice a week. Yoga is open to all employees, retirees, and dependents. You have multiple ways to access all the health and complementary offerings that we're about to talk about. You can log in through the employee portal, which you can go to the website www.norfolkcounty.org. At the very bottom of the page, you click Employee Portal. You use the sign-in username employee with a capital E, and the password is Norfolk County 1, all one word, capital N, capital C. You can log in through the employee portal, or you can visit the wellness page. You can also get to the wellness page through the employee portal, or you can explore everything that we're about to talk about on the Mayflower site. As always, you're welcome to stop by or call the Human Resources Department for assistance. You can also find other information on the employee portal as well, such as company policies, HR forms, holiday schedules, and many, many more items. Okay, let's talk about one of the first complementary offerings that we have. The Wellable platform is available through the Mayflower Health Group. They offer workouts, nutritional programs for all diet types, and mindful living resources. The next program is the Savory Living program. This online personalized program will guide you step by step to apply the power of evidence-based healthy eating to reduce inflammation and take control of how you feel. You'll discover how to eat right for you and learn the easy food skills you need to turn it into a delicious lifestyle that you love. Norfolk County has secured exclusive discount memberships with Apple, T-Mobile, Dell Technologies, ID.me, and Tickets at Work. Let's take a closer look at the Tickets at Work membership. As part of your employee benefits, you have access to Tickets at Work. It's a platform that offers exclusive discounts on entertainment, travel, everyday purchases. Find savings on theme parks, movie tickets, concerts, sporting events, hotels, rental cars, and more. How you sign into Tickets at Work is you register for a personal account. You just add your information in there, and then under the company code, you put Norfolk County, all one word, capital N, capital C. There are a few different ways that you can search for deals in the Tickets at Work platform. First, you can use the navigation bar. You can also use the search bar, or you can just scroll down and see what they have on their main page. On the navigation bar, you'll find a travel button, which includes hotels, flights, cruises, rental cars. There's a theme park button that includes discounts all over the country if you're going to Disney or Six Flags or any other theme park. They have ski resort discount tickets, and then in the spring and summer, they also have spring and other tickets for water parks and things like that. They have great deals on movie tickets. I've actually used this many times myself and saved a ton of money. And they have deals at AMC, Showcase, and Regal Theaters. You can also search by the city, so you could just go in and type Boston and just see what kind of discounts and fun activities you can find right in Boston. And then they also have sporting events, concerts, and on-off Broadway show ticket discounts. If you have questions while you're on this portal, you can just go to the question link and click Contact Us, and they have several different ways that you can go in and get support. We've heard your requests for pet insurance benefits, and we are happy to share that discounted pet insurance is now available through the Tickets at Work platform. Be sure to check it out and take advantage of the great employee offering. Just sign in and use the company code Norfolk County, type pet insurance in the search bar. They have several different insurances that you can see here, and you just have to go in and check them out and see which one is the best fit for you. Another service that we have is the Employee Assistance Program called MEGA, and it's also called Perspectives. How you sign into this is you can access it through the employee portal or the wellness page or Mayflower. You create an account and you enter the company code MEGA, capitals MEGA. Your EAP is designed to help with free, confidential, 24/7 access to resources and experts, such as counseling, life coaches, children's services, elder parent support, LGBTQIA+ resources, pet safety, and more. They have health and wellness experts in nutrition, addiction, fitness, mental health, and more. They offer a smoking cessation support group. They have financial advisors, legal consultants, and other professional advisors available. There's podcasts, webinars, professional development trainings, and more. And again, the employee code for that is MEGA, all capital MEGA. They also have a discount program that we have access to, very similar to the Tickets at Work. You can access that by going to the navigation bar, clicking on Site Features, scroll down to where it says Discounts, and then you'll come to this page, and it has the pet insurance. They also have hotel, car, flight, and cruises discounts, movie ticket discounts. They have a pay over time perk where you can purchase something and it gets deducted from your bank account. They have seasonal discounts, and they also have a great gift card discount program. Here are some of the pet insurances available through Perspectives, again, using the company code MEGA. So they have some of the same as Tickets at Work, but they also offer a couple different ones than Tickets at Work. So again, just go in and look at the different plans and see which one is the best fit for your pet family. You're also invited to join the Mayflower Virtual Health and Wellness Fair. And this is how you access that. That's on Wednesday, April 30th from 12 to 2 p.m. You register by sending an email to wellness@mmhg.org, and they will send you a link to the fair. So again, just want to remind you how you access all of these plans and more. You can go to the wellness page. You can access the wellness page through the employee portal, which is at the bottom of the norfolkcounty.org website, or you can access them through the Mayflower pages as well. So we will be moving into benefits, the benefits phase of the presentation. Here are the FY26 rates. You will hear more about each individual benefit from the benefit advisors throughout the rest of the event. You won't have to listen to me the whole time. And again, if there are any questions at all after the presentation, you can reach out to Maureen or Michelle in Human Resources. And if you have any questions during the presentation, just type them into the chat and Michelle will present them after each presentation. So thanks for bearing with me for my wellness presentation part of this. Just want to remind everybody that it is open enrollment time. If you want to make any benefit changes, now is the time to do it. Any changes should be submitted to Human Resources no later than May 15th, 2025. So the next presentation is going to be Jay Blanchard with Marshall Lincoln. At this time, are there any questions?
I guess you're gonna be rolling next round. I would imagine.
Maureen, I see no questions.
Okay, thank you. I'm just firing up the next presentation.
Stamp time?
Is Jay on? Yep, I see he's on.
Maureen, can you try to unmute Jay? Because I can't.
He's unmuted.
Hey guys, I'm here.
All right. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I think we're up and running if you wanna kick it off.
Certainly, I'm not sure if you can see me.
We see your name, but we don't see your face. You can check your video. There we go.
Fantastic. All right, Michelle and Maureen, thank you so much for having me today. I have a lot to cover, so I'm going to jump right into it. Again, I'm Jay Blanchard, and I'm with Marshall Wealth Management. I am a financial advisor, and just to let you know, our broker-dealer is Lincoln Investment Planning. So we're going to talk today about traditional and Roth 403B plans that are available to the educators over at the Norfolk Aggie. Everything we discuss will be similar to the 457 plan. They are very alike. So anything we talk about with the 403B and Roth 403B is also available to the other employees at the county. And they have the 457 plan and the 457 Roth, at least through Lincoln Investment Planning. I know the Roths are available. So if we can go to the next slide, please. Okay, just a quick blurb about Lincoln Investment. We were established in 1968. We have over 315,000 clients, and we represent 51 billion in assets. We're dedicated to help our clients achieve financial well-being, really through knowledgeable guidance of independent financial professionals and the quality investment choices. Slide, please. So, what do we offer? Personalized financial planning, retirement planning, estate planning, investment planning, wealth management, also insurance planning and education planning. Slide. Just a real disclaimer here, everything we talk about is general in nature. I am not a tax accountant, nor am I an attorney, so anything that refers to those subjects, you really want to talk to your accountant and your attorney. And any past performance that we talk about is not indicative of the future. Slide. Okay. You, because you're in the county and work at the school or in the county for the 457 as an employee or nonprofit 501c, the municipality, you're entitled to a unique benefit. And it's not offered to most taxpayers. This is called a 403B plan. Slide. So you have two options, right? You have the Roth 403B and you have the traditional 403B. You also have the 457 and in the Roth 457. So that gives you additional flexibility in planning for your retirement income. So what are we going to talk about? Why invest in a 403B? The features of a traditional and a Roth. How do you get started? What are your contribution limits? And then how do you get money out of the plan? Please slide. So when you're in retirement income, you may have a state pension, you may have a municipal pension, you may have Social Security. Once those start, you have no control over them. So things you will have control over in retirement is a 403B account, a 457 account, an IRA, or your personal savings. So that's something to be aware of. Slide. So what is a traditional 403B? An opportunity to reduce current taxes and save for retirement at the same time. Now, let's take a look at a 403B. Annual salary, if it was $40,000 and you were in a 22% tax bracket, which is very common for a married couple or people filing jointly or a higher income earner. $40,000, if you contributed $3,000 annually to that 403B, that would basically bring your taxable income down to $37,000, allowing you to save $660 in federal taxes. So basically, it's costing you about $2,340 to save $3,000. Slide. Okay, let's take a look at it in another way. If you put away $200 in your 403B, and average a 6% return over time, in 10 years, you'd have $32,000 saved in the 403B. Without the 403B, it'd only be $23,000, right? Because taxes eat into those gains. Now, if you looked at 20 years, it's $92,000 versus $60,000. And then in 30 years, you're looking at $200,000 saved in your account versus $122,000. Now, that's looking at a 6% return. Past performances have been much higher over 30 years, in particular asset classes. So that's something to realize that you could have a lot more money if you were a little bit aggressive. And looking into the future, 30 years is a pretty good time frame. Next slide, please. So let's take a look at a traditional 403B. If you put away $200 a month in a 12% tax bracket, that's a $288 savings, right? If you're in the 22, right up to the 32, it could basically save you $700 plus if you're in the higher tax bracket. This is very common, by the way. So that's the tax savings that we're looking for. Please move to the next slide. So now let's talk about the Roth. This is a way to withdraw your money tax-free in retirement. So the Roth 403B doesn't give you the upfront tax benefit as a traditional 403B, but it does have tax advantages on the back end. Slide. So the Roth was introduced in 2006. Its contributions are made after tax, but then the earnings do grow tax deferred. And then your withdrawals are not taxed as long as you meet two criteria. One is your 59.5, and two is the account has been set up for at least 5 years. It's also not subject to RMDs or required minimum distributions, which will all be required to distribute when we're 75 years old. Most of us. Some at 73 if they already turned. But the contribution limits are much higher in the Roth 403B than a regular 403B. So let's look at traditional 403B is pre-tax. It comes right out of your paycheck. It grows tax deferred. It's taxed when you take it out. The Roth, on the other hand, you're putting in after-tax dollars, still grows tax deferred. Then you will not be taxed on any of those dollars when you take them out at 59 and a half. It could be when you're 70. So slide, please. Okay, which is right for you. So basically, if you think you're being a lower tax bracket in retirement, then you would like to do the traditional 403B. If you think you'll be in a higher tax bracket in retirement, the Roth is better for you. If you think it's going to be roughly about the same, there's no clear advantage to either account. If you have really good returns, though, the Roth is a better option because you'll have a lot more gains that would be taxed in retirement. In the Roth, you'll be able to take those funds without any taxes at all. So let's talk about the common variables that both the Roth 403B and the regular 403B have. Next slide. So getting started. It's payroll contributions. This is very important. They're disciplined and they're automatic. So once you set it up, you can make changes, but typically those dollars are going in every 2 weeks. And this is disciplined investing is a way to invest that's strategic. You're also dollar cost averaging, and pretty much it's coming out pre-tax. So it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, and it's a good way to invest. So some people feel that they don't have the money to start out right away. I'm just starting. I'm a new teacher or a new employee. I'll see how things go. It's important to develop a plan, prepare a budget, save your raise, meaning you'll get a 4% raise. A lot of people like to take that raise and just fold it right into the plan. The latte factor is just basically saying, a lot of folks go out, spend $7, $10 in the morning, grabbing themselves a coffee at the local Starbucks. If they put that into their account, they'll be able to pop in $200 a month and certainly be off and running for the 403B. And then you'll talk to your financial professional. It could be me. It could be any one of the fine companies that you have at the county. And we just want to make sure that you get started, talk to any of those professionals, and set up a plan. And that's what we hope that you'll do. So, slide, please. So, how much can you contribute? You cannot contribute more than $23,500 or 100% of your compensation. Now, a lot of folks don't hit that mark, but they do have the opportunity to do that. And if you're 50 and older, you can contribute another $7,500. So that's a total of $31,000. Some of you that are just starting out wouldn't start that high. I have folks that are getting ready for retirement and they're hitting that $31,000 threshold. So we can move right along. Next slide, please. Yes, so the contribution limits, very important. You can do a 403B and a Roth 403B at the same time, but you cannot go over those 23,500 limits or 31,000. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that you could have a 457 plan and a 403B plan and conceivably contribute up to $62,000 a year. A lot of people don't feel that they have that, and a lot certainly don't for their retirement plan. But as you get closer to retirement, and maybe you have a spouse that also has an earnings, you can afford to put away some extra dollars. So it's something to think about. Slide, please. So let's just give you a quick example of why you want to start early. Here's an example where Susan invested $100 monthly for 15 years. She started at 25 and stopped at 40. She has $130,000 at age 65 if the account provided 6% on average. Now, Sam, he started investing at 35 and then invested for 30 years, the same amount of money, but because he started later, he has $30,000 less than Susan. And all that is the power of time, value of money. So as you can see, starting early is much better than waiting. Next slide, please. So I kind of rushed through these slides because we want to definitely get to the question and answer, and I know I'm moving on. So Accessing your money, there may be some loan provisions or withdrawals, but the main thing to think about is when you're 59 and a half, that's when you can start spending these dollars. So, slide, please. There are hardship withdrawals. Again, hopefully we don't have to address that, but it's your money. That's the other thing to think about. It's your money. You control it, but there are some ways to get at these funds if you have some special circumstances. Next slide, please. And then accessing your money, as I say, really you're going to start taking money sometime in your 60s. If you don't, once you hit 75, we'll be forcing the money out to you at a very small amount. It's like 4% of the actual total value of that account. Next slide, please. Okay, what investments are available to me? Mutual funds. Slide, please. So basically, we're going to help you develop a plan. What's right for you? How aggressive can we be? What's your time frame? And then certainly, this is just an investment pyramid. So as you can see in the investment pyramid, if you have greater than 10 years, we're going to be a little bit more aggressive with your funds. If you only have 6 months, then we'll be in money markets. So we'll help you design a nice asset allocation for your portfolio. Next slide, please. Okay, why are we going to contribute to a 403B? Let's talk about it. It's disciplined and automatic, reduces your taxes, no taxes if you do a 403B at distribution. Certainly, all the earnings grow tax deferred, so it doesn't cost you anything other than your investment. And there's no reduction in any of your other retirement benefits. In Social Security, you still, if you're entitled to that, in your pension, will still come as planned. So it's an accessory to that. Next slide, please. And really, this is just a card. I know this is taped. If you get a chance to print this out, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me directly, which on the next screen has all my contact information. Any of the great folks that are also involved in the 403B plan at the county would be glad to help you out. We just want to make sure that it's a good idea to get moving and start saving for retirement. And any of the great folks that are involved will help you out. Please feel free to call me or use my email and ask us any questions. So right now, are there any questions that anyone might have?
Hi, Jay, this is Michelle. The only question that came up is just to confirm that county employees can join a 457 in lieu of a 403B, because I believe a 403B is for the school employees.
That is correct. So just so you know, all the county employees have access to the 457 plans. Now, I don't believe every 403B provider also offers that 457, but I know that Lincoln does, and Lincoln also will offer 457 Roth as well. So, and certainly, if anybody has any questions about that, I'd be glad to review that with them. But yes, all the county employees do have that option for the 457 plan. Yes.
Thank you,
Only
Jay.
the
This has been great.
Yeah, no, and just to recap, only the educators can do the 403B. And thank you guys so much. Any questions, just let me know, and it's a pleasure to work with you too.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate you being here today.
You bet. Have a great conference. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
So next up, we have Edwin Barahona. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly, with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Are
Well,
you
thank you.
on, Edwin?
I am here, and absolutely, you said it correctly, so that's fantastic.
Oh, good. Yay. All right, well, take it away, Edwin.
All right, excellent. Are you guys going to be sharing the presentation, or should I share
It's being shared now. You should be able to see it.
Maureen, we still have Jay's presentation up.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Perfect,
Sorry about
awesome.
that.
No,
All
no
right.
worries. Excellent. Well,
Just let me know when you want me to slide down, okay?
Absolutely. Well, welcome and good afternoon to everybody. Today we're going to be going over a lot of great information, which you will all be able to access all the details with all this presentation. So let's certainly get started with the next slide.
There's a slight delay on this, so bear
Oh,
with me.
okay.
Sorry. Here we go.
Excellent. So here are the two medical plans, right? So something to be able to think about. Of course, the Network Blue Rate Saver, which is an HMO blue plan. It's important to understand how the fundamental works, right? It's a plan that you're going to require to have a primary care physician. All your providers would need to be in network. You would definitely need referrals versus with the other plan, which is Blue Cadillac Rate Saver, which is a PPO plan, nationwide plan, gives you that great broad access nationwide, but also you have the opportunity to be able to see out of network doctors or facilities. The only thing is you would be paying more out of pocket. The next slide will actually summarize that information. Here is basically just some common terms as you navigate through both plans. Basically, you are some of the questions as we get, what are co-pays? What are your allowable amounts? Out-of-pocket maximums, deductibles. So this is just like a nice atlas guide, as I basically call it. It's just to be able to help you navigate through all of your plan and programs as you all decide which plans are going to be best for you and your family. Next slide. And of course, there's going to be a lot of like animation, of course, so you might be able to see some delays here. But it's a really great tool to have and to always read it just because it basically helps. But this is the slide that I really wanted to be able to discuss, the comparison between both of them, right? So with the HMO Rate Saver plan, that is an HMO Blue New England plan, right? So that means for those that you live in New England, you're able to list a primary care physician in Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. You are able to change primary cares at any time. There's no penalty for that. The only risk that you run into, though, is if you do not have a primary care. Not having a primary care physician can basically cause you to not get those referrals and a lot of claim denial. So it's very important to be able to find a primary care and list it in your account, whether if it's for yourself, spouse, or any dependent children. Please note that with that plan, there's no out-of-network coverage. The only coverage that you do have would be emergency room visits or out of area urgent care if you decide to travel outside from the New England region, right? So maybe if you are visiting families and you leave New England but maybe go to a different state, please note that emergency room are covered and out of area urgent care. With out of area urgent care, it's always important to take as much as information. So then on a business day, you would want to give us a call to provide us that information so we can post an authorization to cover that out of area urgent care. Also, please note that there are no referrals to certain care. For example, the most common cares that you do not require referrals would be any preventative care, whether if it has to do with your adult physical exams or pediatric physical exams. It's always important to check the benefit limitations. Also, other preventative approved services such as routine colonoscopies, routine mammograms, always important to look at your plan materials for any age base. Also, any sick visits if you're not feeling well and if you need to see your primary care or any affiliate doctors that works with your primary care, that those services should be covered. Behavioral health visits, also chiropractors and acupuncturists. Now, with chiropractors, there's no referrals required. Just you want to take note is how many visits you would be able to be have coverage. The only thing is that your chiropractor would work with Blue Cross and acupuncture. Of course, there's always a benefit limitation on that, so make sure to check your plan materials. For the PPO plan, that's a nationwide plan. It basically gives you that great coverage to stay in network. If you stay in network, you're going to get the best, richest benefits. You go out of network, you would be paying more out of your pocket, but also you would have to be able to submit more information. This slide right here, it's the virtual care team. So what this slide basically represents is in case if you live in an area where you're having difficulties finding a primary care. So depending which plan you decide to enroll, if you decide to enroll under the HMO Blue plan, please note that you do need to list a primary care if you decide to go this network. The network that typically Blue Cross works with is with Firefly Health. The whole convenience about this is because you're able to have virtual care visits with a primary care. They also focuses on your mental health, but also your physical health. The cost share is very affordable, so you get really great benefits with it. Also, there is a great coordination of it. So if you do need to see any specialist or any receive any specific care in a facility, they will make sure to help you be able to get your care necessary, long as you stay in network. And of course, you can be able to reach out to your doctors whenever you feel that's necessary, whether if it's through email, text, video, it's completely your choice. So be sure if you have the HMO plan, you want a list of doctor on the Firefly Health. If you have the PPO plan, you have the flexibility to go back and forth. Next slide.
There we go. Sorry, there's a weird delay on it.
Absolutely. The next slide just basically represents if you are interested in looking. So when you do find a doctor, you're going to be able to see a network that states Firefly Health. So when you click on Learn More, it's just going to give you detailed information. If you do decide to sign up, it basically explains what you're going to be receiving to your address on file. You're going to be receiving a packet, some really tools and resources so they could be able to monitor your health and also how the program actually works. Next slide. So here is a great example of the differences of both, right? So as we can see here, both plans do not have any deductibles. Routine preventative work is covered in full, long as the services are preventative. If you do decide to discuss any medical reasons with your doctor, or if your doctor feels that they need to be able to take care of you for any specific reasoning, that's when a caution will apply. Like, for example, if you mention, hey, my arm hurts, my knee hurts during a preventative visits, it can, easily turn into a medical visit. So just be aware and be sure about that. The discussion about the Firefly Health, there's no cost to that. But as you can see here, both plan has really rich, great benefits because that means that you would be responsible just for certain copay. So, right, this slide basically represents which plan would be best for you and your family. Also, emergency rooms is $100 copay, but please note that we, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts, covers you for sick visits with your primary care. You can go to urgent care. You could go to limited service clinics. So those are great options to go in case if you feel that you do not need to go to an emergency room. However, if it's a life or death situation, please go to the emergency room. Also, other great benefits is the diagnostic testing, whether if it's labs or x-rays, MRI, PET scans. Now, if you notice on these slides, if it says hospital setting versus non-hospital setting. Hospital setting is if you go to an actual hospital to have an MRI or a CT scan done, that's when a copay will apply. But if you go to a non-hospital setting, usually there are providers that they usually have a Shields MRI, or Harvard Vanguard has their own facility for you to have an MRI done, which are considered to be non-hospital setting, then there's no copay for that. And then, of course, if you need to have any hospital day surgery or inpatient, there's always a copay depending of the services. Both plans do have prescription drug coverage, so you have the option to get a 30-day supply. We do participate with big major chains of pharmacy, including CVS, Costco, Walmart, Stop and Shop, Walgreens. Or you can definitely take advantage of the mail order pharmacy, which you get a 90-day supply. The benefit of going through the 90-day supply is it helps you save 1 month worth of a copay. And of course, there are a lot of maintenance medications that are relatively low cost, so they will give you some great cost savings. Next slide. So this is just an example of out-of-network benefits. As we discussed, the HMO Blue New England plan does not have out-of-network benefits. The only benefits you would be covered again would be only for emergency and urgent care. As we can see here under the PPO plan, if you decide to go out of network, there is a small deductible you'll be responsible for. Once you have completed the deductible, you'll be responsible for either a co-insurance, which could typically be 20% or even 40% if you decide to get a durable medical equipment. Also, please note that when you do receive the reimbursement is actually going to be like if you're seeing an in-network doctor. So if there's any difference there, then that will be your full responsibility. Next slide. All right, so both plans do have an out-of-pocket maximum. As we clearly saw that the previous slide shows that the plan has really good, rich benefits, you would have to have basically a very difficult catastrophic year in order for you to be able to meet these figures. So for example, if you, let's say, had a very difficult year, you went to the doctors, paid a lot of copays, if you met $2,000 individual, that means Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts will pay your medical claims at 100%. If it's a family, meaning that all of you had a very difficult year, went to have a lot of services, paid a lot of co-pays out of pocket, then that means it would be a 4,000 per family. So the insurance would cover the family claims at 100%. There is a separate prescription drugs out of pocket maximum. So if you had a lot of medications, you paid a lot of co-pays. If those amounts were met, then that means we would cover your medications at 100%. So it would have to take a lot, I mean, a lot of meds, a lot of medical service in order for these amounts to be met. But if it does get met, then that means we would take full responsibility, long as the services are medically necessary. Next slide. Well connection. So this is available in case if you do need telehealth, right? It could be a time where all the urgent care centers are closed. You're not feeling well, and you probably say, okay, maybe I do not need to go to the emergency room just yet, but I'm not feeling, I just want to be able to get medical advice or even a prescription to the pharmacy. So you are able to see real-time doctors. If you have any of these symptoms listed, these doctors are either specialists, emergency room doctors, primary cares, pediatric doctors, and basically based on your discussion with him or her, they will basically diagnose you if they feel that you need an antibiotic because you may have some sort of an infection, strep throat, maybe a cold, sinus infection, or even COVID. They can certainly be able to send a script to the nearest pharmacy. If you do utilize their services, not only it's a great cost savings because it's the same cost as a doctor's office visit. However, you always want to follow up with the primary care physician. Also, with Well Connection, you're able to get therapy as well. So, with therapy, you do need to select the best date and time that works for you. It is by appointment, appointment based. So, if you are dealing with something very difficult and you want to be able to speak with a therapist, you're able to use this tool. It's also the same cost as a doctor's office visit, and it's highly recommended in case if you need to discuss any matters with a therapist. Next slide. Also, this is the maintenance choice voluntarily. So this is completely up to you, right? It's if you have any sort of maintenance medications and you want to be able to get some really great cost savings, it saves you up to 33% of the cost of maintenance medications. Maintenance medications, examples of that, if you have low blood pressure, high blood pressure medications, cholesterol, diabetes, heart conditions, right? So if you go to a CVS pharmacy retail location or through the mail service pharmacy, and if you have maintenance medications, there's a great opportunity that you're able to get those medications up to a 90-day supply, and it saves you a 33%. There are a certain listing on our website that shows what are examples of maintenance medications. So I highly recommend to take a look at that listing so you know if you have a med that's eligible for this program. And here is the link. So this is the link that you would want to use. What's great about this link is that it helps you be able to find if medications are covered, whether if you need a prior authorization, what tier under your program, how it works, if you need to reach out to your doctor, if they need to submit any medical information to us in order for medication to be approved, but also understanding the tier, right? What each tier represents and how it works with the insurance. And here are some important links that I highly recommend for your review is under important information, and that's will you will be able to find that maintenance medication listing, which it will determine whether if you would be eligible for that program. So definitely take your time to look into those tools and resources. Next slide. All right. And what's fascinating is that you do have a fitness and weight loss benefits program. So for those that you might have a yearly membership or a monthly membership, right? So if you were to pay a fitness reimbursement for a full service health club, those are basically full service gyms that has all, the great machinery in order for you to exercise, a fitness studio, virtual offerings, which are certain programs and apps. Great examples would be the Peloton, Apple Fitness. I know that there's many others available to you. Also, home fitness equipment, if you are purchasing items and maybe you are starting your own gym at the comfort of your home or even at your own apartment, but even bicycles that are purchased for recreational use, bicycle helmets, athletic shoes, and sports activities fees. So you're able to get up to $300. So definitely take advantage for that. Please note that the $300 is per family per calendar year. A calendar year goes from basically January 1st until December 31st. And for those that are ready to submit, you basically had, of course, for the calendar year of 2024, you had till March 31st. So definitely, if you have any of these activities, take advantage of it. Also, you do have the weight loss reimbursement, which you're able to get up to $150 per family per year. That is for non-hospital-based programs or hospital-based programs, which basically you are seeing certified health professionals that basically are educating you, teaching you what certain foods to have, what exercise you should do in order for you to meet the weight loss. Also, we do cover Weight Watchers and Weight Watchers Online. Please note that any food products, I know that typically these programs recommend for you to buy protein shakes, certain foods or meals. Those services are not covered, but the educational piece is. Next slide. And this is just basically to help you out is how to be able to submit. So when you do set up the MindBlue account, and when you start scrolling down, you're going to be able to see submitting your fitness or weight loss reimbursements. And then once you do that, it basically will help you how to, how to be able to submit for it, what calendar year, putting all your information. And long as your information is correct, and of course you want to be able to make sure of that, you should be able to receive a confirmation email that we got your information, and then we will issue you a check for your reimbursement depending on what you submit for. Next slide. And this is just automated, so it would definitely show you where to go, what to do for in order for you to submit. Yeah. Excellent. This is basically the mind and body reimbursement. So this is a great program for you to take advantage. You're able to get $300 in savings for the following: massage therapy, hypnosis, mediation, Tai Chi, Qigong, breathing, and mediation app. So for those, let's say, purchase either a monthly package or a yearly package of probably a massage therapy. You want to make sure that once you reach up to $300, submit those receipts to us. And with this, you do need to fill up a form and mail it in to us. And once we receive that, then we will issue out a check for these programs. Basically, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts on the slides, they have a great area in case if you're looking for holistic health. Now, typically holistic health is not covered under the medical program, but this is some really good information to help you look for all the things that we just discussed, right? Like finding out, a local gym, finding out how the weight loss program works, but also the mind and body. So you definitely would want to take the time to navigate this because you might be able to find some great locations that you're able to go to, so you could be able to get reimbursed. And the next slide will actually give you some really great details about that. What the next slide basically represents is how to find an alternative provider, right? Like how to be able to find a massage therapist, acupuncture, it is covered under your medical plan, nutrition and counseling, but then everything else is basically something that has to do with the mind and body. And then over here, once you look at the practitioner type, the travel distance, and you put in your zip code, it gives you a listing of providers or centers that would be able to help you, and you could be able to get some really great cost savings for those services. Next slide. Mental health is basically our primary goal to make sure that you have everything you need. So we do have a mental health resource center to be able to help you determine which therapist should I use depending on how I feel, how to guide myself. Is there anything that I can do, or is there somebody that I can talk to be able to send me a therapist listing that is in network? So we are here to help. We do have our member advocate phone number that you're able to contact, so you can always reach out to us. If it's a life or death situation, do not ever hesitate to reach out to 911 and get medical help immediately. And of course, our program under that resource center, we have something that's called Learn to Live. So basically, it's an automated system on how to be able to cope with stress and anxiety. It is online, it's self-paced, but it's available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it deals with the areas of focus such as depression, anxiety, substance abuse, insomnia, panic, stress and anxiety, and worry. But also, it gives you some really great resources or who you should be reaching out in case if you're dealing with this. So take the time to be able to utilize this tool. It might be able to give you some really great information. Next slide. And of course, you want anytime that you do want to find a doctor, we do have our own website. Two networks you would want to just use is the HMO Blue New England, or there is a network that's called PPO or EPO. So once you have selected any of those networks, depending on which program you're selecting, it's going to give you the total results in your area. You just want to be able to put the correct doctor's name, also the zip code, but also the correct network, and you're able to narrow down your search. Also, if you're not able to find those providers, give us a call. We'd be happy to make sure that they are in network. Next slide. All right. And also, we got you covered. You can save money with Smart Shopper. What Smart Shopper basically is making sure that you do have to create a MyBlue account for this. And there are certain procedures, qualifying procedures that you are able to get like rewards, long as you be able to use a participating Smart Shopper provider. If you do utilize the Smart Shopper provider, you're able to receive a check up to $250 after the claim is paid. And if it's verified that the location qualifies for that reward, then you get that reimbursement. And you can always double check with us to confirm if that facility or location or even doctor participates with Smart Shopper. This
I
is
just
just,
want to remind you of the time, Edwin. I'm
yep,
sorry, we're 5 minutes over
okay.
your time right now.
Yep, no, absolutely. I was just going to be just very brief on this. This is
Okay.
just a discounted site. So this is just basically available for free for all of you, just to be able to find some really great discounts on certain items. And the next slide is probably going to have the important phone numbers in our member app in order for you to reach out to us in case if you have any specific questions regarding to claims, benefits, or any sort of materials. All right. And in the next slide, you have the phone numbers. Excellent. Perfect. And I want to be able to thank everybody. I'm going to stay here just for questions in case if anybody has any or if they want to put it on the chat, I'd be happy to help answer any questions.
We don't have any questions at this time. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Edwin. I appreciate it. It was a great presentation.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me today.
And I do believe that Nicole is here from Boston Mutual. I think I saw her join. Are you on, Nicole?
I am, yes. How are you?
Good. Just bear with me one moment, please. I'm just gonna get your presentation.
Take your time. No rush. No rush.
I only had one slide. Is that correct?
Yep, yep.
Okay.
I figured
Nice
I
and
would be
easy.
brief. Yes. I can chat a little bit about this.
Okay.
Yeah, it was perfect actually. Edwin, great job, great presentation, and it's totally fine that you went over because mine's not going to take super long. So, um, yeah, so today we are doing the fun topic of life insurance. I understand this is not a great thing to talk about on a Thursday afternoon, but I try to make light of these conversations, have a little fun with it. None of us are getting out of here alive, so let's talk about what we can do to help our friends and family after the fact. Um, so my name is Nicole Gerard. I'm the Director of Client Relations for Boston Mutual. You guys have a wonderful plan through the county that they actually contribute to your basic life insurance, which you are all eligible for upon being a new hire. They pay actually 90% of it, which is incredibly generous. So thank you very much, Norfolk County, for getting that for your employees. It's a very nice offering there. So what happens with this is that as an active employee, you are eligible to get a $10,000 life insurance policy. It also includes an accidental death and dismemberment rider to it. What that means, again, I'm not trying to be morbid, I'm just giving everybody the facts. If you unfortunately car accident or something along those lines, not only would your beneficiary get that $10,000 for the life policy, but they would get an additional $10,000 because it was an accident. So just want to make that known because not a lot of people understand what that AD&D lingo means. That's what that is. So that's that part. And then when you retire, the plan does, as long as you retire from the county, the plan does continue on, but it reduces to a $5,000 benefit. You can see the costs right there for the employees, again, because of the tremendous contribution that the county makes. Your costs are incredibly low for such a nice plan. So again, thank you, Norfolk, for that contribution. Just so everyone is aware, I know that open enrollment is a time where everyone signs up for things. When we're talking about life insurance policies through group plans, and I'll get into what group is versus what we call worksite or more individualized plans. The group plans are really only offered during your first 31 days of hire or through a Boston Mutual approved open enrollment, which happens about every 3 to 5 years. Um, so currently, if anyone is not on the plan and wants to enroll, you can, but you would be subject to medical questions at that point. So you can reach out to your HR department. They should have an enrollment form and then the medical questions as well. That whole little application would be then sent to our team, and then you would wait to hear from us whether or not you've been approved. Um, if anyone's a new hire on the call, you have your first 31 days to hop onto this plan with no medical questions. So just so you're aware, that's how that works. It's very similar for our group voluntary coverage. So the voluntary coverage is essentially like a buy-up option, if you will. So it's a group plan, which means the Norfolk County kind of controls that. So any questions that you have, you would reach out to your HR department about this stuff, and then they would work with us directly. Our group voluntary plan is very unique. We're actually the only carrier that offers something like this. It's called an issue age product. So what that means is that typically when you sign up for a term life insurance plan, every time you have a birthday that puts you in a new age category, 30 to 34 and then 35 to 39, every time you jump into one of those new age brackets, your rate goes up, which is kind of a bummer. It's happy birthday. Here's more money you owe us. Our plan is called an issue age plan, which means you are locked into that rate for the duration of the plan. So even if, so say you were a new employee and you're 30 years old, you're like, I don't really need life insurance, but I'm going to lock in my age band for this voluntary coverage at age 30 and pay $3 a month for $100,000 worth of coverage. I'm just throwing numbers out there, but they are very reasonable. Then all of a sudden 10, 20 years from then, you're like, my life situation has changed. I have a mortgage, I have kids in college, I have new cars to pay off, whatever it may be. And you want to increase that life insurance, you can do so again during an approved open enrollment and still get the rate associated with being a 30-year-old. So that's a very unique feature that Boston Mutual has. It's a huge benefit to you in terms of cost savings. So just something to inquire about when you guys are looking into this. Again, new hires, or you can enroll at any time in this too. Again, you'd be subject to medical questions. As a new hire or during, an approved open enrollment, you can get up to $150,000 with no medical questions asked. So again, that's what we refer to as guaranteed issue. It just means you're guaranteed that amount. You can apply for 200, 250, up to, usually $500,000. And even if you get denied for some reason for that additional coverage, you would still get that 150 because that's a guarantee. So that's the group voluntary plan. You do need the basic to be able to sign up for the voluntary, just so everyone's aware. The voluntary does term, meaning it terminates, it goes away when you retire or when you leave the group, meaning leaving the county. At that point, you do have options. So we're not just going to leave you high and dry. You do have options if you want to continue the coverage, at which point you would reach out to your HR department. They would let us know and we would send paperwork over. It's a quick little application. Then we would send you individually as the employee rates to see what you want to do after you leave the county. So I just threw a lot out there. Before we get into the next segment of this, I just want to open it up for questions and see if anyone has thoughts.
There are no questions at this time, Nicole, but just as a point of clarification, the county contributes 70% to the plan.
Oh, okay, good to know. So we will adjust that on our end. We have 90 in our system, but I will make that adjustment. Thank you for letting me know, Michelle. Okay. Okay. So if there are any folks that want to enroll in those group products, again, reach out to your HR folks. They'll help you with that. The next part of this are our what I referred to earlier as our work site or individual products. So you also have the access to get an accidental plan through us. Again, everyone's familiar with the Duck and Aflac and that kind of an accident plan. It's a similar type of plan. You roll your ankle, you need an X-ray, we would pay you a benefit associated with that. One nice thing with our plan too is that there's a $50 health screen benefit that not a lot of people know about, so I want to make everyone aware. If you have regular testing done, whether it's your annual, it's not annual physical. There's a whole list which I can get your HR department the information there. But you can file a claim and get reimbursed up to $50 for having, again, routine medical stuff done. So that's the accident plan. And then we also have a permanent whole life plan. What that means is it's, again, life insurance, but it's a permanent plan as opposed to the group plans, which, as I mentioned before, the group voluntary terminates at retirement. The basic plan, it doesn't terminate necessarily if you stay with the group, but it does reduce upon retirement. This permanent whole life coverage is a permanent through your whole life. That's why they call it that. Personal plan. It also has a cash interest bearing account associated with it. So at some point, if you accumulate enough money and you want to pull it out for whatever reason to put a down payment on a car or whatever it may be, you have access to do that. So it's a nice little thing to carry you through and again pay for those fees associated with passing and making sure that your family's taken care of afterwards. So those have a lot of different aspects to them, very personal. So if you do want to look into those options, we would encourage you to reach out to a gentleman named George Karras. His phone number is on this slide. He would be able to sign you up for those products. That's not something that your HR folks would put you through. You need a licensed agent to do that. So George can help you out there.
George will be on later.
I'm sorry?
George will be on later.
Oh, great. Okay, so he can get into more of those specifics. That's wonderful. Good to know. Perfect. All right, so I told you it'd be short and sweet, but if there's any other questions, happy to take that at this point. Or I can get you guys back on your schedule. Only 3 minutes over.
Thank you, Nicole.
All right, Bill
Thanks,
Smart.
Nicole. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll talk soon.
So next we have Mayflower. I'm just, bear with me, please. I'm just pulling up the Mayflower presentation.
Sure. Hello.
And we have Sarah Sacchetti,
Yes.
and you can take it away, Sarah.
All right. So that looks like the end of the presentation.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. I will thank you both for having me. So like Maureen said, my name is Sarah. And I'm here to talk to you with like a general overview about MMHG's wellness plans that we have. Our mission statement is, so next slide. Our mission statement is to improve the health and well-being, quality of life for all employees, retirees, dependents, and to empower them to adopt positive attitudes and behaviors that celebrate a lifelong commitment to wellness. Next. So we have the 4 pillars of health. We like to think one way that we look at health here and wellness is like your body is your home and you need to take care of it. So one pillar is emotional and financial wellness. And that is we have programs that teach stress management and financial wellness, mindfulness, smoking cessation, and we have a bunch of virtual mental health um, options that we have through the Learn to Live program. Pillar 2 is nutrition. We have a lot of nutrition programs, seminars, and webinars with registered dietitians and healthy cooking demos. We have an online 12-week savory living and healthy eating program that is currently free to all members. Let's see, Pillar 3, physical activity. We offer plenty of programs and options for everyone from all abilities, whether it's kickboxing, Zumba, or like chair yoga or stretches, things like that. I know Norfolk County offers yoga, and that's been wonderful. And we actually just started our walking challenge this week on the 14th. So a lot of our member units are involved with that, which is great because it's finally nice out. So that's what we have for physical activity. And pillar 4 is my favorite, sleep. It's good to get a lot of sleep, and we have seminars and webinars and sleep challenges because there are a lot of benefits to getting your 8 hours of sleep. So next slide. So we have
And I-
virtual, oh,
Sorry.
no, it's okay. Yes, this one. So we have a bunch of virtual programs, of course. And let's see, we have the X program, which is the free online smoking cessation program. Learn to Live, that's free, as I said, for all our members. Savory Living. Wellable is on-demand fitness. And as it says on the slide, that includes meal planning, recipes, sleep, and mindfulness content. We have lunch and learn webinars, and those are all on our website. They're all pre-recorded and they're up there for anyone to see at any time, not just during their lunch breaks. We have online challenges, guided mindfulness sessions, and exercise classes, as I mentioned before, Zumba, yoga, and whatnot. We have worksite programs, the wellness seminars, healthy cooking, stress management, worksite exercise classes. We do the worksite screenings, the biometric screenings, blood pressure, cholesterol, glucose, and the chair massage. It's very popular with a lot of our member units, and the mindfulness and Reiki. We have incentive programs. We work with Blue Cross on those sometimes too for $25 to $50 gift cards. There are grants available, wellness grants available, and we have our newsletter that comes out quarterly as well. Next, please. Let's see. So to get started with these wellness benefits, you would go to our website, mmhg.org/wellness, and you will find our calendar. You can look at the calendar events. We have flyers and a lot more. Next. This is, you would sign up here for, for email updates. This is what our health and wellness page looks like. And next. And actually, this is our main wellness page. This is where you will find all the activities and programs that we have, our schedule, the mindfulness, the savory living, and everything is right here. And you can always reach out to us too if you have any questions about the wellness programs. Next. These are some examples from the past few years of what everyone's done. I just think they're really great. And everyone really gets into it, the walking challenges, the cooking classes, and the gardening. I know that, for example, Halifax had a lot of people work on their garden there, and they got a lot of veggies clearly. So we have a lot of fun with it with our groups. Next. So Blue Cross Blue Shield, it was starting in July of 2023. They had the $300 annual mind and body reimbursement benefit, and that includes massage therapy, mindfulness apps, and more. They had the $300 fitness reimbursement as well. That started this current fiscal year. And that would go towards the athletic shoes, bicycles, and helmets, and school sports fees. You have the up to $150 annual weight loss program reimbursement, and some of the programs for the weight loss programs that we have are listed on here. We have a Healthy Me website, and we also have mental health resource centers and the Blue Care line as well listed on here for you. And next, this is the mental health slide that you would find in my blue, I believe. Yes. So that's very helpful. Next. And which has become very popular, especially since COVID, and a lot of people couldn't necessarily get to see a doctor. Telehealth has been one way that everyone can either see a therapist or just talk to their doctor really quick if need be. We have the Smart Shopper incentive programs, and we have the Canna RX programs for saving money on prescriptions. It either provides low copays or no copays at all. Next. And as I said, you can go to our website to the wellness page, and you can see all the programs we have there, all the links, or you could email me at wellness@mmhg.org or give me a call, and my number is listed on there. And that's it. Are there any questions?
Sarah,
Any
we do not
questions,
have any
Michelle?
questions at this time.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks for
you.
being here, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Maureen. Yes.
All right, next we have Tanya Fannin. I believe she is on. I'm just going to pull up the presentation. Are you here, Tanya?
I'm here.
Great. Just pulling up the presentation. All right, can you see that?
I can. Thank you so much.
All right, just let me know when you need me to go to the next slide.
Wonderful. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me and letting me talk to you a little bit about your iMed Vision benefits. I'm actually sitting in for your account manager, Nick Schneider. He was not able to be here today, so I offered to take his place and talk to you a little bit. So if we could go to the next slide. So I don't know if you're aware, but an eye exam can look for much more than just blurry vision. In fact, eye doctors are likely to spot the first signs of any chronic diseases such as hypertension, high cholesterol, diabetes, heart disease. And new studies are also showing that eye exams are also able to detect early signs of Alzheimer's disease. And this is because the eye is the only place on the body with an unobstructed view of blood vessels. So it's makes good sense that your vision care should be an integral part of your healthcare routine. And that's just another reason that your eye exam every year is so important. Next slide. Now your plan is on our Insight network, and your group ID number is shown there at the top. Your plan year, your frequency is based on plan year, meaning that your plan year runs July through June when you have active coverage. So all of these allowances that you see here run not calendar year, but July through June. So you have an eye exam that's covered every 12 months, covered with a $20 copay. You have a $175 frame allowance that's available every 2 plan years, $25 base lens copays, and then you have fixed pricing on any lens options. And then you also have a $175 contact lens allowance, and your fit and follow-up appointments are included. Now your plan allows you to receive either contacts and frame or frame and lens services. Your full list of benefits is available on our member website and our mobile app. So I would highly encourage you to create an account on our site so that you have access to this information, as well as a number of tools that we're going to talk about in here just in a second. So you know that choosing an in-network provider, back to the other slide, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. When you choose an in-network provider, that saves you a lot of money. But what you may not know is that your plan also has our i360 enhanced benefit option that saves you even more. Just by visiting a Plus provider, you're automatically entitled to an extra $50 added to your frame allowance, which increases that from $175 to $225. And this is built right into your benefits, so there's no need to worry about promo codes, coupons, extra paperwork, nothing. Now, Plus providers are easy to find just by using our provider locator tool on the website, and you just look for the little plus icon there inside the eyeball that you see on the screen. Next. We also have a number of extra savings and discounts that are available to you that are in addition to your plan benefits. And there are also additional special offers on our website that are also stackable with your benefits that can save you even more money. So this is another great reason to sign up on the member web. And I always suggest that you check those out before you visit your provider so that you know what the latest and greatest is so that you can maximize your discounts. Next. Now, as I mentioned, your plan is on our Insight network, which is our largest network. You have a choice of over 171,000 providers across the nation. Insight is also made up of independent providers along with these retail locations that you see here. And for those of you who prefer to shop online, we have you covered as well with the list of providers that you see on your screen. Next. Now, our provider locator tool is on our member website and on our mobile app, and it makes finding an eye doctor so easy. You can get online, you can search by the doctor name, by the location, or by zip code. There's also driving directions. When you pull up a provider, you can see whether or not they are a Plus provider, their hours. You can also schedule appointments for most of our providers on the site. But even if you can't do it on there, there's contact information for all of the providers. Next. Now, when you enroll, you will receive a welcome kit in the mail, which includes 2 ID cards with the subscriber's name, a full benefit summary, and a listing of the 8 closest in-network providers to your zip code. Now, our member app and our website are both powerful tools that allow you to easily manage your benefits. Some of the features that you see here include checking out your benefits, your eligibility. If you can't remember when the last time was that you had an eye exam, you can go on there quickly and see if you are eligible yet to get another one. If you have any claims that are outstanding, you want to check the status of those. You can do that easily. I mentioned special offers. You can also load and save any prescriptions that you have so that you easily have them readily available at any time that you need them. You can set your exam contact lens reminders. And if you need to pull up your ID card, if you want to do that on your phone, I know for iPhone, you just open the app and give your phone a shake and your ID card will pop up. But you can also download print copies directly from the member website. Next. Now we have an award-winning customer care team that is ready to take your call and answer any questions that you may have about your benefits, claim status, anything of that nature. You can see the phone number here along with the hours. The only days that we are closed is Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Next. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. That's all I have for you today so that we have time for questions if you have any.
Excellent.
Thank you. There were no questions at this time, Tanya.
Thanks so much, Tanya. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
And next we have Equitable, and I believe I did see Allie on. So Allie, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm ready to go.
All right, let me just pull up the presentation. Bear with me, please.
Thank you.
Here we go. Okay, take it away.
Awesome. Well,
Let me know
Michelle
if
and
you need
Maureen.
me to- just let me know if you need me when you need me to go to the next slide.
Okay, wonderful. And Michelle and Maureen, thank you guys both for having me on today. So I work for Equitable, both on the town side and then for the schools as well, or Norfolk Aggie schools as well, helping with the retirement benefits. What does that mean? So we help with, on the school sides, the 403Bs, and the town sides, the 457 deferred comp. And then we help answer a lot of questions on pension and Social Security, especially with Social Security changing for so many people recently. Do you mind going to the next slide? So what is a retirement formula? The answer that there is no easy formula. There's not, your age plus your years of service equal 90 or 100. We've heard it all. If you go to the next slide, Maureen, it really comes down to your age versus your years of service. And that's going to give us a percentage. And that percentage is going to tell us when we can retire. There are several different charts for our school employees in comparison to our town employees, if you're tier 1 and tier 4, or also there's a tier 2 as well. So feel free to reach out to me and we can get you out that correct pension chart. But the idea is that at some point after maybe 20, 30, 40 years, whatever it may be, in retirement, you're going to potentially get to what we call 80% of your salary. Easy numbers, if you're making $50,000 a year, 80% of that's going to be 40,000 you'll get in retirement every single year. If you're making 100, an easy calculation is 80% is 80,000. So that's the maximum benefit that anybody's going to be eligible to get. And it's a really good benefit that Massachusetts has for their town and their school employees. Minimum years that we need to work is we need to work 10 years in order to get anything. The more years we work, the older that we are, the more we're going to end up getting from these benefits. Do you mind going to the next slide? So how do we get years of service? So we get this question all the time. Can I buy years of service? Can I just write a check for $50,000 and then I can retire tomorrow? Unfortunately, the answer is not that easy. There's 2 ways for us to be getting years of service. One is our bodies are physically in the town or on the school side. Second way that we can do it is if anything on this chart, we taught out of state or we worked out of state as a police officer, a firefighter, non-public teaching for our schools, vocational education. If we worked overseas, if we worked in the military, we can buy all these years back. So it's either going to be our time working in one of the following categories on the screen here or physically being there. So again, we need 10 total years in order to get any benefit at all. Next slide, please. So when we retire, we're going to get 3 different options from our pension system. So assuming, for the sake of the conversation today, assuming we get 80%, which is our maximum benefit, option A is going to say we'd get 80% of our salary of the average of our top 3 to 5 salaries. So as an example, I'm making $100,000. I'm going to get 80% or $80,000 a year. Option A, though, has no beneficiary. So if you pass away, that money doesn't go on to somebody else. But if I live from 6 years old to 100 years old, I'm getting that 80% every single year. Option C, I'm actually going to skip to next. Option C says we're going to take a little bit of a haircut. We're going to get about 90% of our option A benefit. So in that example, instead of making $80,000 a year, I'm going to take a haircut. I'm going to make $72,000 a year from our pension system. But now that money, because I'm taking a haircut, my beneficiary is going to get a benefit. So money could be able to go onto my family. It could go onto a spouse, siblings, cousins, friends. It just can't go onto our kids, our nieces, our nephews, our grandchildren. So it has to be someone right around that age. And again, and then option B is going to just say we're going to take a smaller haircut and less money will go into our family. So again, at some point, if you ever want us to calculate out those numbers for you, I joke all the time, it will take us 30 seconds, which will take you 30 minutes to figure it out. So just let us know and we can calculate it out pretty quickly for you guys. Do you mind going to the next slide? Awesome. So 2 sides of retirement that most people have. Pension, our municipal employees, our school employees have pensions. The rest of the world has Social Security. So we have a lot of career changers that went from working in a Social Security position and we're now working in a school or in the municipalities. Up until January of this year, there was the no double dipping rule, which says that we cannot get our full pension and our full Social Security. They call that double dipping. In January, they overturned that after 41 years. So now it's making this section a little bit easier to understand. We're now eligible to either get our full Social Security benefit. Again, 10 years, you need 10 years in to get something, our full Social Security benefit, or half of our spouse's Social Security benefit. So if my spouse is making $4,000 a year in Social Security, I'm eligible for half of that. So I'm eligible for either $2,000 or whatever my Social Security benefit is, whatever is larger. So it was a huge win for so many of our town and our school employees. Maureen, do you mind going to the next slide? So this is a chart. When am I eligible to start collecting my Social Security full benefit? So you can technically start at the age of 62. It's going to be a little bit of a reduction. I was chatting with someone earlier today and they were 58. And I was like, we're not quite there yet. So they can retire on some of the money that they set aside for themselves, but their Social Security benefit will kick in at 62. It's going to be based on the age, or excuse me, the year that you were born. So if someone was born after 1960, their full Social Security benefit is going to come at the age of 67. But again, you can use this chart to figure out when are you eligible for your full benefit. There is a reduced benefit starting at the age of 62, though, for our early retirees. Do you mind going to the next slide? Awesome. So there's two factors that go into how much money we're going to receive. We kind of talked about this already. How much money did I earn in my working years? The more money I earn, the larger these pension and these Social Security benefits are going to be. And then also, what age am I going to apply for the benefits? The later that we apply, the more our benefits are going to be. We're kind of deferring collecting some of these retirement benefits. All right, next slide. Okay, so pensions are phenomenal, wonderful benefits. Social Security is a really, really wonderful benefit as well. Putting them together, it's now much better than it was 3 months ago. The issue with our pension benefits specifically is that in retirement, milk and bread and eggs and gas in the world is going to continue to become more and more expensive. And our pension benefits are not going to go up with it. There's a very small cost of living adjustment, about $390 a year, that our pension benefits are going to go up. So the town gives us these additional retirement benefits called either the 403B if you're a school employee or the 457 if you're a municipal or town employee, which is allowing us to put additional funds aside for our retirement so that when you retire, you don't have to go back to work, 10, 15 years into retirement. You can retire and you have a bucket of money to pull from. Do you mind going to the next one? Thank you. So essentially, what is a 401k, or excuse me, what is a 403b? What is a 457? 401k is the common buzzword that everybody knows about. It just, in the massive IRS textbook, section 401, subsection K just means that I work for a private entity and I can save for retirement. Section 457 says I work for a municipality and I can save for retirement. And then a 403b is for our school employees. It's essentially the exact same thing across the board. Very similar benefits. The 401k just tends to be the buzzword. Do you mind going to the next one? So how do the 403b, I know it says 403 on here, but how do the 403 plans and the 457 plans work? It's our version of a 401k where you essentially say, okay, I want to put additional money out of my paycheck, every single paycheck, aside from my retirement. We can increase it, we can decrease it, we can start it, we can stop it, we can change the amount at any point. And then it's portable. So I can bring it with me from employer to employer wherever I want to go. I joke all the time, we can't just pull the money out though and say I want to go on a shopping spree. The idea is that we're putting money aside for our retirement. The money goes into a bucket, it gets invested, it's going to go up and down based on your risk tolerance. Then the idea is that when you retire, you have money to pull from. There's a loan provision. So if we do need to pull out money before we hit retirement age, we can do that. But the whole idea is kind of out of sight, out of mind. Let's just be putting money away for our future. Next slide, please. And then finally, to wrap us all up, there's a lot of things that go into the retirement benefit side of things. There's our pension, there's our Social Security, there is our supplemental benefits, our 457 deferred comp, our 403Bs. We use this picture on the right. This is a picture of what we call an asset map. And basically this is the retirement programming that we use, that we can put you and potentially a spouse on a piece of paper. We can put your assets around you. And the whole idea is it ends up going back into the back end system. It will calculate, are you financially ready to retire? And it's going to include all aspects of my estate planning, retirement accounts. If I still have kids that are younger that have education planning, 457 accounts, 529 accounts, disability insurance, life insurance. What are my goals? So this is a software that we use for a lot of retirees that will let us know, are we on track to hit our goals? And then as we get closer to retirement, what tweaks and changes, if any, should we be making in our last few years before we hit the retirement age? I think that's my last slide. If there's any questions, please reach out to me via email, via phone, whatever is easiest. I'm around. I joke all the time. I talk very fast. So if anyone needs me to re-explain things to them, let me know. And again, Michelle and Maureen, thank you guys for having me on today.
Thank you, Ally. Appreciate you being here.
Of course.
Now we're way ahead of schedule.
Thanks, Sally. We don't have any questions, but it's great to see you.
Good to see you too.
Just going to clear some of this out and get ready for the next presentation. Michelle, do you have anything to add?
I do not have anything to add at this time.
All right. Is Eamon on the conference yet?
He is.
Okay. Let me just pull up that presentation. Eamon, am I saying your name right?
Not. I mean, we read those out of emails together. That is not what was talked about.
Maybe he's not ready.
He's unmuted now, so he's coming on.
Okay.
Oh, whatever.
Eamon, are you ready to go? We're a little early for him, so he might not be ready. We'll just wait a minute or two.
Eamon, can you hear us? We can't hear you. There's no volume.
We're a little ahead of schedule, Eamon, so you can take take a minute to figure out your tech issues.
Maureen, he gave us a thumbs up.
Yep, I can see that.
I don't know what's happening here.
I can hear you now.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I don't know why it was muted for so long.
No problem.
All
We're
right.
way ahead of schedule, so it's all good.
Excellent. I appreciate that. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Just let me know. You can go ahead and start and just let me know when you want me to go to the next slide.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, thank you for having me. My name is Iman Janine. I'm here to speak about the SMART plan, which is a 457 plan, very similar to what the person just before me spoke about as well. So let's get into that. If you could go to the next slide, please. Okay, so today we're going to talk about a few do's and don'ts when it comes to retirement planning. Some of the do's is we're going to discuss some of the do's and don'ts, explain some of the features of the SMART plan, and answer some questions regarding the SMART plan. So next slide. Okay, so a lot of talk about retirement. The expected retirement age right now is age 65, as was referenced earlier. The normal retirement age for Social Security for anyone born after 1960 is age 67. But even if you retire at 65, females are expected to live to 86, so that's 21 years in retirement, and males 19 years to age 84. That's the average life expectancy for someone that makes it to age 65. So you can see that you have a lot of time in retirement, so we need to make sure that we don't outlive that money. Next slide. So most financial advisors will tell you that you're going to need about 70 to 80% of your pre-retirement income to live comfortably in retirement. So as we mentioned earlier, some people were talking about the pension, and yeah, some people will get 80% of that pension, which is great, but there are plenty of people that did start in the workforce or municipalities later in life, so they might not get to that 70 or 80% number. And that's kind of where the Smart Plan of 47 can fit in to your retirement calculations. Next slide. Okay, so as also was talked about was inflation. So typical cost in 2023 for a new home was about $433,000. In 2043, 20 years from now, that number is expected to be about $782,000. Same thing with gasoline, coffee, and new cars. Price of everything is going to go up over time. This is based on a 3% inflation rate for 20 years. 3% inflation rate has been typical over the long term, but in the last few years, we've seen an even higher inflation rate than that. So just to give you an idea of what things will cost in the future. Next slide. So some of the benefits that you're going to get from the pension, the average payment right now based on January 2023 is about $41,000 a year. And once again, with life expectancy being as what it is, and your pension and even your Social Security may not be enough. And don't forget about that inflation. Next slide. Okay, so today's retirees have a greater responsibility for creating their own income through personal savings and investments. And so what are some of the first places to consider putting some of that money for retirement? And the Smart Plan could be one of those places. Next slide. So the Smart Plan is a 457 plan. It's a tax deferred or Roth option. You can do one or the other or both through the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It's for state employees and participating government entities. In other words, towns or schools in the Commonwealth. We deal with about 80% of the Commonwealth municipalities. It operates in accordance with the Section 457 of the Internal Revenue Code. And participation in this program does not reduce your pension and or Social Security benefits at all. So it will not affect either one of those in any way, shape, or form. Okay, next slide. Okay, so there are benefits to both pre-tax and Roth. So pre-tax contributions will reduce your current taxable income. So just to give you an idea, if you make $100,000 a year and you're putting in 10% of your pay, the IRS for that year is going to say you didn't make $100,000, you made $90,000. So that's going to reduce the amount that it's going to tax you at least right in that year. The money that you would have paid in taxes would be invested for potential growth to help you build that retirement nest egg. And contributions for any potential earnings are not taxed until you withdraw them. So you're not taxed on any interest until you eventually withdraw that money in retirement. Next slide. And this will give you an idea of what your account may look like if it was done pre-tax versus non-pre-tax. So you can see over 10, 20, or even 30 years, that amount gets bigger and bigger because that money is growing tax deferred. It's growing faster because the taxes aren't being taken away from your earnings. They're just accumulating and growing tax deferred. So it's growing even faster for you. Next slide. So making the best choice you can do before tax, which is suitable for people who believe that they're going to have a lower tax bracket in retirement. So if you know that maybe you're not going to get 80%, maybe you're going to get 60% or even 50% of as a pension. Well, you know that you're going to be making a lot less money in retirement than while you were working. So if that's the case, you'd want to do pre-tax and pay those taxes later in retirement. So after tax or Roth locks in today's tax rates, and it's suitable for people who think they're going to be in a higher tax bracket at retirement. If you are going to get to that 70 or 80% number, and maybe you have some other assets as well, maybe you have a house, a rental property or something that you're going to have income on. So you think you're going to be higher in taxes in retirement than you are while you're working, then you pay the taxes now, and then you get tax-free income in retirement because that money has already been taxed. So Roth is better for people generally who are younger and don't make as much money, And pre-tax is better for people that are older and making more money because they want to reduce their taxable income. Next slide. So how much can you contribute? You can do as little as 1% of your pay or $10 per pay period, whichever is less. And for 2025, the limits are, if you're under 50 years old, it's $23,500 a year. If you're 50 years old or older, it's up to $31,000 a year. There's a special, two special catch-ups. One's for people ages 60 to 63. This just went into effect this year, and you can do $34,750 if you're in that 4-year time frame. And then what the 47 has what's called a special catch-up contribution, which allows you to save up to $47,000 per year for any 3 consecutive years. So especially as you're getting older and making more money and you haven't been maxing out your contributions, this allows you to put in a decent amount of money for those 3 years. And those numbers are expected to be increased and be adjusted based on standard cost of living. So they expect to go up over time. Next slide. So you can go to the website, which is www.mass-smart.com, or call our customer service number at 877-457-1900. And it also to start your contributions, and you can also start what's called annual auto deferral increases. So automatically, if you say I want to start at 3% and increase it every year by 1% increments to get to a certain number, let's say you want to max it out at 10. So 3%, so for 7 straight years, it will go up by 1% automatically for you, so you don't have to worry about it. Or if you did a dollar amount, same thing. You start at 50 and go up by $25 increments until you get to, say, $200 or $250, whatever the number is that you want to stop it at. Next slide. So benefits of the SMART plan, they're very convenient because it's automatically payroll deducted. You don't have to worry about sending a check or worrying about anything to that effect. You can change your contributions at any time. It's not like open enrollment with medical where you're stuck in it for a certain length of time. You can change it on a monthly basis. At separation or retirement, you can roll over out of this program. So if you want to roll money into a new IRA or something like that, you could do that. Same thing. We accept rollovers in. So if you worked somewhere else for a long time and had a 401k with them or a 403b, and you want to roll the money into this program to consolidate all your assets, a lot of people do that. We certainly recommend that and can help you do that. As with any financial decision, you are encouraged to discuss moving your money between accounts, including rollovers, with a financial advisor, and consider all your options and their features and fees before moving between accounts. Next slide. So this gives you an idea of our website and some of the tools available online. So you can see with the sliders down near the bottom, you can manipulate them a little and change the contribution, your retirement age, your investment style, so how much risk you're willing to take. And it'll give you, and you can see at the top, estimated monthly income, how much money you can expect between all the money that all the information that you've added into your portfolio. And you can see the income gap. It'll tell you if there's a gap or maybe you're ahead of the game. So if there's a gap, we can try to help manipulate or pull some levers to hopefully get you to that point that there is no gap anymore for your retirement. So this is a tool available for free online, and you can use it to make sure that you're meeting your financial goals for retirement. Next slide. So there's a couple of different paths that you can use when deciding on how you're going to invest your money. Path 1 is what we call our Smart Path funds. This is generally an asset allocation of each target fund will gradually become more and more conservative as the fund nears the target retirement date. So for example, if I was going to retire in roughly 10 years, I would pick the 2035 fund, which is geared for people that are going to retire around the year 2035. So as that fund gets closer to retirement or closer to 2035, it's going to get more and more conservative. It's going to reduce its risk automatically, just like most people that are retiring within 10 years will probably want to get more conservative as they get older and closer to that time frame. So it's sort of like a do it and forget it type of thing. It's going to automatically do that for you. The other options that you do have is Empower Advisory Service, where we can be your advisors and your professional advisors and help you come up with a strategy that's tailor-made to your individual situation. And we could implement that strategy, monitor your account for you on a monthly basis, and make other changes as time goes on. And we would talk to you 2-3 times a year to reevaluate your situation, see if anything has changed, and go from there. You can also build and monitor your own investment portfolio, and you can even do what's called a self-directed brokerage account. We use Charles Schwab, so that will give you over 2,000 more mutual funds available for you to pick from if you decide to go that route. But understand that this is intended for knowledgeable investors who understand the risks associated with a self-directed brokerage account. So if you have some experience with it, you might want to take advantage of that. If you don't, probably not your best option. Next slide, please. So there's also, and we talked about the advisory service. There's 2 types of advisory service you can use with us. First is the online tool, which doesn't cost you anything. That's a free service, and it provides you specific fund recommendations for you that you can go ahead and implement on your own when you're ready. The other is what's called My Total Retirement, where there is an annual fee. It starts at 0.4% for the first $100,000. So if you had a $10,000 balance, it would be $40 a year. If you had a $100,000 balance, it'd be $400 a year. And this provides you a personalized retirement strategy based on your financial picture. And that would be reevaluated with you on an ongoing basis. And you can cancel the advisory service at any time. There's no contract, there's no obligation. But if you feel like you need some help and want to work with an advisor, that's always available to you. Next slide, please. And this is another tool that we can use on our website. It's the spend down tool. It illustrates how long your desired income could last you in retirement, determines how much sustainable income you can expect throughout your retirement years. And you don't have to be a professional, financial or technical, to take advantage of the spend down advice. So we can help you with that, but it's very clear cut, available for you to use. And once again, free service available online as part of our web tool. Next slide. Okay, so are you ready for retirement? Next slide. There are a number of ways that you can get started. We can help you decide how your assets should be allocated, your savings rate, retirement age, and what we can go through what's called a retirement readiness review. So it's a free service, a free call that you can set up with an advisor. It takes about a half hour, 45 minutes to go through your information. And you can schedule that right on the website by going to www.mass-smart.com, click on Plan Resources, and then find your representative. So the representative that you would be dealing with, her name is Marianne, and she is at a different meeting today, so I'm stepping in for her. But you can find her information, her email address, and you can set up a meeting with her right by her calendar. Okay, next slide. Okay, so making your retirement assets, or managing your retirement assets, excuse me, your retirement nest egg represents many years of planning and saving. So you'll want to manage them wisely. So when you are about to make decisions, you want to ask a lot of questions, including who benefits when I make a change, the broker that is helping me or me? What are the advantages or disadvantages of taking a withdrawal or rolling my balance to an IRA or maintaining the money in the smart plan? Because you don't have to take your money out just because you're retired. You can leave your money here as long as you'd like. What is the potential impact on my beneficiaries? And what are the fees and how do they compare? So all these questions are important questions to decide when making your financial decisions. Next slide. So distribution considerations. When you're finally ready to retire, that's when you can take your money out of this program. So if in the pre-tax option, you can take your money out anytime after you leave employment or turn age 59 and a half, whichever comes first. So if I'm 55 or 56 years old and I've retired, I have access to that money. If I'm still working and I'm 61 years old, I have access to that money. With a Roth option, it's the same rules, but it has to be 5 years that you have to have the Roth open. So 5 years and 59 and a half for death and or disability. And then most plans require a minimum distribution starting at age 73. That is also moving up to age 75 over the next few years. But right now, it's our RMDs or required minimum distributions start at 73. And it only comes out to about 4% of your total balance. So it's not a huge portion, but the IRS, if you have pre-tax money in the account, will say, okay, you've deferred this money long enough. It's time to start paying some of the taxes on some of that money. Next slide. So there are some typical things, typical jargon, and these are some of those things: administrative fees, investment management fee, commission, withdrawal surrender charges. So these are all things that you might see when it comes to retirement planning. So be aware of these and understand how one plan is different than the other. So these are just things that you should ask about and when making your decisions, which plan is right for me. Next slide. So as far as the fees here with us, there is a $10 annual fee if your balance is at least $1,000. There is also a 0.07% fee on your assets in your account. That's capped at $350 a year annually. So you'd have to have a substantial amount of money to get anywhere near that number. And there's also administrative fee, which is 0.0075%. There's a simple way of saying this is if your balance was $10,000, your annual fee for having this program would be $17.75 per year. That's based on a $10,000 balance. So as your balance goes up, the fee goes up a little because it's based on your assets, but just to give you an idea. Next slide. So each investment option offered through the Smart Plan also has its own operating expenses that all mutual funds do. And it's very competitive because this plan is the state plan. So their fees tend to be very low, relatively speaking. So to give you an idea, we have an S&P 500 index fund, which a lot of people invest in the S&P 500. Our S&P 500 index fund fee is 0.01%. So it's not free, but it's almost as close to free as you can get. So very low fee, but there is a fee. Next slide. And once again, we talked about this slightly, but when can I access my money? Well, separation of service, age 59 and a half, those are the main two. Certainly at death, it goes to your beneficiary. There are what's called unforeseeable emergencies, which are defined by the Internal Revenue Code. So you might qualify for what's called a hardship withdrawal. Very rare, and hopefully you're never in that situation. And then there's also what's in-service distributions up to $5,000 available for some people who are limited circumstances under the terms of the plan. So once again, not very common, but it's possible. Next slide. Okay. So one thing to understand, especially for those that are working in the school system, you can do both the 457 and the 403B at the same time. So if you're lucky enough that you can afford to contribute, you can max out both plans. So if you're over 50 years old and you're maxing out both plans, you could do a total of $62,000 a year between the two. So that's a huge benefit, is if you're doing the 403B and you still have more money that you would like to save for retirement, the 457 plan is a great place to add to that, and vice versa. Okay. You can also purchase, I'm sorry, just to go back, the last slide there is somewhat important, is that you can also purchase credible service with a state board using assets in your Smart Plan. So if you have money and you can buy more time, using this is a great way to do that, because most of the money here is probably pre-tax, and that way you're not taxed on that money, and that would go to buy your credible service with the state. Thank you. Next slide. So a rollover process, if you want to roll your money over into this program, obviously happy to help you do that. You want to contact your previous provider to obtain any necessary withdrawal paperwork that they have. You can also call our Retirement Education Center, 888-737-4480, and we can help facilitate that with you. Once again, consider all your options before you make that decision. Next slide. So the best way to get in touch with us, number of different ways. The website is great, www.mass-smart.com. Call the customer service line at 877-457-1900. They're available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Saturday from 9 to 5:30 p.m. And if we go to the next slide, we should have this is, if you have never been in the Smart Plan before, this is the best way to enroll right online using this code, which is good through June 1st. After June 1st, you'd have to call us to get the new code, but you go to the website, you put in the group ID, which is 98966-01, and the plan enrollment code there. You can take a screenshot of that if you want, or take a picture of it. And 5 minutes, you go to the website, you click on that green register button. In 5 minutes, you'll be up and running. And if you do it in the month of April, we will send it to your payroll on May 1st, and deductions will begin by the middle of May. Next slide. And if you're already enrolled, the best thing to do would be to set up an appointment and go over your account, see if you have any questions or concerns about your program, see if we can help invest it for you. Call the 877 number or go to mass-smart.com. Once again, click on Plan Resources and then find your representative, and it will bring up a map of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and you click on where you live, and that's your representative, and you can go from there and set up an appointment with her. Next slide. Okay, I think that's it for me. Any questions at this point?
We don't have any questions at this time.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having us, and please let us know if there's anything else we can do to help your
Thank you.
clients.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here.
Sure.
All right, so we have next on our agenda is Tina Vieira, and I see that you're on, Tina. We are a couple of minutes ahead of schedule. Are you ready to go, Tina?
Oh, certainly.
All right, let me just pull up the presentation. And you can just let me know when you need me to move on to the next slide.
Perfect.
Okay,
Good
it's all yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here to go over your dental benefits for the Mayflower Municipality Health Group. Next slide, please. What we're going to discuss today, we're going to discuss the plan overview, the Delta Dental Network, member tools that you can utilize on our portal or in our or the mobile app, some oral health education, and I'll answer any questions that you might have available, that you might have. Next slide, please. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is the plan overview. Next slide, please. Okay, so effective July 1st, they were increasing the calendar year maximum to $1,750 per member. Now let me go over the benefits with you. Your diagnostic and preventative, which are covered at 100%. Your basic is at 80%, and your major services are at 50%. If you have either a basic or major services, you'll have a $50 deductible. Once you've satisfied the deductible, you've satisfied it for the entire calendar year maximum. And then if you have any other services that are on a basic or major services, it'll be covered at 80% or 50%, depending what type of service you're having rendered. So once you've satisfied the deductible, you've satisfied it for the year. Also, orthodontics is covered up to the age of 19 and at 50% with a $1,500 lifetime maximum. In reference to the calendar year maximum, so if you're in the family plan, you're going to get $1,750 for each member of your family for that calendar year. Also, diagnostic and preventative services are not subject to the calendar year maximum. So that's a great enhancement to have. And dependents, if you have dependents are going to be covered till the last day of the month that they turn 26. Next slide, please. I wanted to give you what the enhancements are for the upcoming policy year, which is effective July 1st of 2025. Currently, consultations are going to be covered as a type 1 benefit. And they're allowed consultations once every 12 months. Also, we're enhancing the fluoride. They're extending the coverage beyond the age of 19 for high-risk members twice in a 12-month period, twice in a calendar year. Sealants are going to be covered up to the age of 19 once every 4 years. And that also includes these sealant repairs once every 12 months per tooth. So that's an enhancement that takes place for July 1st. Also, we're going to have additional enhancements for July 1st, which is an occlusal guard. An occlusal guard is a night guard, or sometimes you have it for bruxism, which is grinding of the teeth. That is going to be covered once every 5 years, or once every 16 months. Also, along with the repairs, that will be covered. The repairs are once per 12 months also. And any adjustments on the occlusal guards are going to be covered once every 12 months also. Implants. Currently, your coverage is in lieu of a 3-unit bridge. So if you had one tooth that was missing and you had 2 teeth beside it, both those teeth had to be in good standings. Well, effective July 1st, they are going to allow the single tooth implants, surgical implants, once every 60 months. So this is a great enhancement. Also, only they're going to cover, this, whether it's single or any type of implants once every 6 months. And we're going to get into that. I highly recommend, if you're going to have any major services, which we'll get into another slide, for anything over $300, we highly recommend a pre-treatment estimate, which I'll go into that into further details. So this is a great enhancement that's taking place for July 1st. Next slide. Okay, some years you're going to have extensive work done, other years you're just going to have routines. For the years you have routines, you need to have at least a cleaning or an exam in the year in order to qualify for rollover dollars. So if you have the cleaning and the exam and you utilize less than $700, one or the other, the following year you'll get the $1,750 plus an additional $500. And that is capped at $1,250. So if you just have routine cleanings in 3 years, you'll have $500 per year, but it's capped at $1,250. And that looks at on an individual basis. So if you have 5 members in your family or 4 members in your family, it looks at it on an individual basis, whether you met the criteria and if you qualify for the rollover dollars. And next slide. Okay, now we're going to go over the Delta Dental Network. Under one of the advantages is to go into a participating provider, whether it's the PPO or the Premier, you're going to not be balance billed. You don't have to file the claim. They will file the claim on behalf of you. You're going to pay. You're going to be have more of a cost savings because they have a contract with us, and they have other. They are contracted with us, and we do utilization reviews with them. And there's also, some advantages of, going to the participating provider, because that they have to, submit on your behalf, and we really credential them and we review their credentialing on an annual basis. Next slide. It is not gone.
Sorry. Yep. No,
That's
this
okay.
just sometimes there's a little delay.
Oh, no problem. I just wanted to give you one of the advantages of going to a an illustration of going to a PPO versus a Premier or out of network. As you can see, both the PPO and the Premier, they're contracted with us, but the PPO provider has agreed to a deeper discount. And what you can see is that this is just an illustration, but if the procedure is covered at 50% and he's contracted with us for 928, and he's submitting for 1,288, your out-of-pocket expense is going to be based on his contract amount, which would be the 464. If he's a Premier, he's also contracted with us, and you're going to be also responsible for your 50% up to the contract amount, which you're under this illustration. It shows that the provider contract amount for the Premier is $1,094, so you'll have an out-of-pocket spent at $547 because the procedure is covered at 50%. But as you can see, if you go to a non-participating provider, you're going to be responsible up to the submitted fee because there is no discount. because he's not contracted with us. So the advantage of going to a participating provider, whether it's a PPO or a Premier, you're going to be responsible up to the contract amount, not what they're submitting for. Also, just wanted to let you know, if you've exhausted your benefits of $17.50 and you go to a participating provider, you're going to be responsible up to their contract amount versus what they're submitting for, because you're going to a participating provider, even though you've exhausted your maximum for the year, but we're still going to hold the provider responsible up to the contract amount, not what they're submitting for. So that's a really great advantage, especially if you're going to have a lot of work done and you're going to get the savings of, just paying up to the contract amount, not what he's submitting for. Next slide. Empowering the Smiles for member tools. So I just wanted to go over what type of tools that we have. So you can, if you will have to establish a profile on our portal, and you'll have access to your plan information, every 24 hours a day. Also, you can either do it on your mobile. We also have access to the mobile app, and we'll go into that. But one of the things that you can do, whether it's the mobile app or the portal, you can review your benefits. You review your benefit, if you satisfy the deductible, review your claims, review pre-treatment estimates. And you can also look at who is covered under your plan, and also be able to download print an ID card or request an ID card. Also look for your explanation of benefits. And you can visit, and there's visit some benefits. It's like there's some dental terminology and definitions of some of the definitions in reference to dental procedures that you might not know, and you can look that up. Also, one of the things that we do have is it's a budget for, it's a calculated, so you can calculate approximately what, what you're going to be paying depending on what type of services. It's an estimator. You'd also could, on the portal or the mobile app, you can also look to see if you have any rollover dollars available. Next slide. Okay, we just went over the mobile app, so you can look. Mobile app has the ID card. Also, and we'll get into the dentistry, and also you can check your claims, your coverage. Also, one of the things I forgot to tell you is you can also locate how to find a dentist, whether it's on the mobile app or on the portal. You can also be able to do that. And just the dental care cost estimator is a tool that you can estimate approximately how much you're going to be paying for a particular service. Next slide. Okay, we also have partnered with teledentistry.com. So say if you are traveling, or you have a dental emergency, or it's in the evening and you have have a toothache and you want to get a hold of a dentist, you can go onto the teledentistry.com under DDMA, and you can have a discussion. You have to fill out a health questionnaire, and a brief registration so that you can speak to a dentist. That's when, and you'll connect to the dentist, and they'll give you whether, what they might be able to prescribe some medication in the event that you have like some type of infection in your tooth or anything, but they'll give you advice on what you should do. So that's a really good tool, especially, if the dentist is, if it's on a Saturday or Sunday when they're closed, or, it's after hours when they're also closed, or you're on vacation and you want to speak to a dentist. Next slide. One of the things this is just new to us. This is a rating system for, it's a 5-star scaling rating system for you to evaluate a participating provider, whether they're in the Premier Network or the PPO. And it's just a tool, and it gives you, they will give you, they'll give you a rating system for each, for the provider that you're looking up for. Any questions so far? That's
We do
okay.
not have any questions as of yet. Thank you.
Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, one of the things that I did discuss, if you're going to have an implant or any type of service that costs over $300, I highly recommend the dental office submitting a pre-treatment estimate for the work. I want to know ahead of time what my out-of-pocket expense is going to be prior to having the services. So if you go to the dentist and you have a checkup and he says, oh, you need this, this, and that, and my favorite words are, can you please send in a pre-treatment estimate? Because I want to know exactly what Delta Dental is going to cover and what my out-of-pocket expense. And some of the procedures, like, you know, you want to have our dental consultants review the procedure prior to you having the services so that there's not going to be any hidden costs prior to, you know, once you have the services rendered, you want to make sure that you know, it's going to be covered. So, that's my favorite words is make sure you have the dentist submit a pre-treatment estimate. That way we send you notification and we send them notification on what Delta will cover and what the out-of-pocket expense will be. Next slide. Whether it's the portal or the web or the mobile app, you can find a dentist by clicking on the specialty, or if you're looking for a general. And then we click on Delta Dental PPO Plus Premier, what plan that you're in. And if you're looking for a provider, you want to know if your provider is participating or not, you can put in by the last name also, or you can just find it by the location. You can select a location, search by your current location, or you can search by a zip code or a city or state. Any questions? Next slide. We also have some discounts for hearing aids and also electric toothbrushes. So here are the numbers for you to call if you're interested in purchasing any of those. And there's a toll-free number and also the email address, or that the email, the web address, so that you can click on to find out how much it costs and if you're interested in some of the discounts. Next slide. Empowering Smiles with the Oral Health of Education. So there's a couple of if you have to establish a profile on the web portal, and then you'll get some member communications. One of them that we do is the member brush up newsletter that is done. It's sent to your email address once every 2 months. Also, we have some Express Your Health. It's an online service on oral health resources that you can be able to look at some, how to keep your mouth healthy. And also there's, if you set up a profile and if you want EOBs or brochures or appointment reminders, they'll be able to target that. So we'll have your email address so we can send you notifications. And one of the other things that a lot of members do like is the Grind magazine. Is a magazine that's sent out quarterly on, just updates in the oral health industry. And then coming soon, we're going to have some frequent asked videos and series on oral health. And then you can also follow us on social media. And there's we're on Facebook, we're on different types of social media. So you'd have to sign up for the member brush up letter. Also, this is what we have. We have it on the member portal. Life stages for oral health. So this gives you an indication on what you should be doing in different life stages as your baby basics, when for teenagers, also as adults and as the golden years. So it just gives you some good oral health initiatives that you should be doing during different stages in your life. Next, any questions?
We don't have any questions as of yet. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you have any questions, you can know where to reach me.
All right. Thank you so much, Tina. Appreciate you being here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. All right. So moving right along, right on time now. Next is, I believe we do have Chris Shea on, which is Corbridge, Chris, are you on?
Yes, Maureen, I am.
All right, so I believe I'm gonna need to let you share, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, give me one moment, please.
Take your time.
Let me just figure this out here.
Think I might have helped. I just sent a request.
Okay, great. Let me check it. Sorry, I got windows popping up over here.
It's all right. I won't take the full 15 minutes anyways. I know it's 4:15 in the afternoon. There's probably not a lot after me. People are ready to get on here and go home.
I'm just looking in the, let's see. Michelle, do you see that request?
It actually just says it was declined.
Oh, try it again.
I can't send it again.
When was it, where was it sent, Maureen? I don't see it.
I don't know. I don't know either, Michelle. Just give me 1 second. Let me see if I can. Hmm. Let me see if I can get Bill to do it.
Okay. So while we're waiting for that, I'll talk at a high level about Corbett Financial Services. We are one of the providers of the 457 deferred compensation plan that Norfolk County has the option to be able to participate in. Essentially, what that is, it's a 401k plan for people that work in the government, right? So, one of the things that you should be doing as employees, excuse me, is, and I only say this because it's true. Everyone who goes to work also is thinking about when they are going to retire, right? And the 457 can help you get to retirement and can help you to have more funds when you actually retire than you would have otherwise. I know there's usually a pension plan that's involved with working, but for most people, that's not going to be enough to do more than have them live a basic life. If they want to travel, they're going to need more funds. And the 457 plan is a wonderful way in which that can be done. There's ways to sign up. We have an online sign-in system that we can set up for you, and we can walk you through that process. And that's an important piece of this. However, what I think is most important, even more so than the actual 457 plan, is the fact that we can, with Corbridge, we offer you the ability to do retirement planning, right? So I'm going to share my screen now. Thank you.
Thanks.
And walk through essentially the real benefit that is provided by Corbridge. You can pick any of the providers you want for the 457 portion of it. But the real question that everyone wants to know is, am I on track to retire? When can I retire? What's my retirement going to look like? Right? So we'll go through this pretty quickly because the high level is important, but what's really important is doing a one-on-one session with me to be able to figure it out, right? So you want to figure out what your own retirement life story is. You know, we have the ability to interact with what's going on now and what you might want to change in the future, right? So the big questions: can I retire when I'm planning to? Am I saving enough to achieve my retirement goals? Am I in danger of outliving or depleting my retirement savings? Right? Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to be destitute at the end of their lives. So the financial planning is what we look to help people out with the most, right? So there are three broad categories of retirement savings. You're not currently enrolled or no longer contributing to a retirement plan. If so, I'd say do that as soon as you possibly can. You're currently enrolled in a plan, but you don't know the impact of your retirement. And the other one is you're near retirement. You want to know what is going on. Can you actually do this? Can you make it work? And we can help with all those, right? So we do a little quick case study here and show you the way that the system works and let you know that it's all changeable to the circumstances that you have, right? So Maria Davis is our case study. She's got a retirement income expense. She wants to spend $50,000 a year. Right now, she's got $40,000 saved up. She's contributing $2,600 annually. So we're estimating a retirement savings of return in her accounts of 7% and 4%. And she's got a pension of $35,000 that starts at age 62 with a 2% increase. She's also got Social Security, $3,500 a month, right? And right now she's age 35. Again, this is just high level broad strokes to show you what we can do to be able to give you an understanding of the impact your choices are having around your money today into the future, right? So, and I apologize if you can't read this perfectly, but we just put in the information, right? In this case, Maria is single. She doesn't have a significant other. If she did, we could put that in there as well. Okay. So this is just the basic information. He wants to retire at age 62. Her income, we put in there $50,000 and expected growth rate of that income, 2%. Okay. We then go to the retirement expenses. Essentially, she's going to live on $50,000 a year, right? Whether that number is realistic for you or not, that's changeable. Okay. But that's current dollars. And you'll see the inflation rate is 2.5%. That's what it is historically. I know there's been higher inflation recently, but historically it's 2.5% over time. Okay. And this again is in the expenses. We can add in other expenses here. We can talk about travel if you want to talk about travel. One of the things I like to put in there is healthcare expenses, because healthcare, last person was talking about dental work, that falls under healthcare, and that stuff is expensive. And as you hit retirement, you've got to have a good amount of money saved up and the anticipation that you're going to be spending money in the healthcare realm. Okay. So we put in as many expenses here as you want. We then go into retirement income. Okay. And we have a bunch of different buckets we can put in here, right? You can see here there's Social Security, potential, a pension, rental, other, right? So we fill this out under the income section. We do Social Security. We do a quick calculation based upon the system does your age and your income, and it runs an estimate and it says, okay, great. This person is going to get $3,500 a month, right? That in 2047. Okay. Again, it will be more personalized to what your circumstances are. But again, this is what the system says it's going to be. We then add in the pension, because the pension is a big portion of Maria's retirement, right? We click on that, $35,000 a year, $2,900 a month. It's going to start at age 62 when she retires. We put that in, and we're off and going. Maria's then got a retirement plan, right? She's got a 457 that she's opened up. So we do the same thing. We add that asset in, qualified account, the 457. We put in the balance. It's in stocks. $40,000 in it. Essentially, you're putting your contribution amount, $2,600 a month, and then we come to the next thing, which is probably the most important one, which is the plan. And all the plan does is say, based upon what you've told us in the system, we will be able to either do something well with your retirement, or we won't be able to make your retirement goals. So there's a couple thing in here that I want to talk about. Again, this is inside the plan. this is the timeline, and you can see it starts with now, a couple of years ago when we put this presentation together. It goes to age 62, which is the retirement, which is where the yellow starts to come into play. And then the end of life at age 90. Okay. And then you can see that there's multitude of colors in there, right? We also put in the average returns, right? We can do this also specifically for your investments. But in this case, you can see we've just put in a generic 7% return and a 4% return. All right. The other thing we want to, again, focus on is the timeline. Guaranteed retirement income. A lot of the studies show one thing. The more money you have guaranteed to come in, the more likely you are to spend it and have a wonderful retirement. It's counterintuitive sometimes to people that they're like, oh, I want to keep my money invested and grow. But when it comes down to it, people really want to have that security of a monthly income. And this shows that. In this case, because of the Social Security and the pension, 65% of the money that Maria is going to need is guaranteed, and we can show that, okay, based upon, again, the information. All right. And there it is again, the guaranteed retirement income. However, in talking with Maria, she is seeing something, and something most people don't want to see is the red. The red is a shortfall, right? And what that means is based upon what we're doing today, Maria can't afford to live the lifestyle she wants, continue to contribute the way she wants with her salary and all that sort of stuff. Okay. So the question is, what can we do to solve for this? So we have a tab on the bottom called Solve, and we can do a number of different things, right? So in this case, she wants to spend $50,000 annually in her income. She's not saving any more money she's doing her current savings for her retirement plan, and her age is 62. Well, we can come in here and change some things, right? So we're going to change it to $45,000 annual spend instead of $50,000. All right. That's going to make a change. And if you notice, the yellow is now farther out to the right. All right. So I'm going to scroll back quickly. You can see right around 2060, there's a lot of red that shows up. We change that to 45,000. Now it's close to 2070 that she's got yellow in there. Okay. So her spending is a big portion of this. Well, what's the other portion of this that's probably the biggest contributor or shortfall? We come in, we add in save more. $200 a month, $50 a week, and let's see what happens there, right? Now, all of a sudden, you see that not only does she have all the red goes away, but she's got, again, the complete yellow, and she's also got a projected legacy to her heirs of $139,000 in change. Okay, so that's the impact of the financial planning. It gives you the ability to see what your behavior towards money means for your retirement and the way in which you want to live. Okay, so again, the guaranteed income goes up. All the red has gone away in the shortfall. The non-protected is just her investments, and away we go. So that's the biggest thing that once you, and you don't even have to sign up for the 457 through Corebridge. I can sit down, have a meeting with you and your loved ones, do all this planning, give you the plan, let you make choices where you're empowered based upon information that you have to make better choices for yourself and your loved ones and your family. Okay. Again, retirement, you got basic questions. Are you concerned, right? Is there a guaranteed way to have my money when I'm retired coming in? There's ways to do that, right? Can you convert your savings into income? Yes, you can do that. What happens if you die prematurely? We can also model that with life insurance as well. So with that, that's what we do mainly. In addition to just having the plan that you're going to contribute to, we answer these questions of, are you going to be okay? And can you retire when you want with the lifestyle that you want to lead? And I can't answer any of those questions until we sit down, have a conversation, and go through it. So with that, like I said, I wouldn't take up the full 15 minutes. Chris Shea, I'm a financial advisor with Corebridge Financial Services. If there's any questions, feel free to let me know. We can answer them now. If you are interested in signing up for the 457, Michelle and Maureen have the information. I can also come out and meet with you where you're at.
Thank you, Chris. We don't have any questions at this time, but we'll reach out to you about scheduling time to be on site to meet with people both at the school and the county. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you all. Have a wonderful rest of
Thanks,
your day.
Chris. All right. So I think I did. I just need you to stop sharing, Chris.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Okay. And I
Getting
think
there.
I did see Mike Polito jump on.
Actually,
Yep.
I'm just going to log out.
Thank you.
Yes, Maureen, he's on.
Yep. All right, so I will share my screen again. And that's, which one do you want first, Mike?
Doesn't matter.
Sorry, I'm just trying to, okay, there we go. All right. All right, so thanks for being here, Mike. I appreciate it. We are right on time, so you can take the floor.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having us. So I do a lot of what Chris does. I say Chris just did a great job. He does a lot of the comprehensive planning that we both do. I help with teachers 403Bs at the Aggie. The tax deferred accounts we get saved for retirement, putting money aside to help along with pensions and other things. Just like Chris does, I kind of would just copy everything you just said. I don't have the same presentation as him, but after watching him, he did a great job, and I don't know what to, I can help with it. He can do a lot more of the 457s. I do the 403B. Similar, kind of similar, but different parts of the county. These are just for teachers. With the 457, most of the employees will have those. This just talks about how making a plan for retirement. A lot of teachers take money every pay period, put some money aside. It's great to help supplement retirement along with pensions. A lot of teachers also use it to buy back years of service if they want to retire early. Great kind of savings vehicle to go along with it. I do more comprehensive planning, like we talked about, helping not just one person's working in the schools. We have other accounts, other assets, other plans, families. Go through a similar process and talk about what goals, objectives are, and how this fits in, and how much we should allocate to it, and how the pension looks and ties everything together. Most of the work I do is with teachers, with educators across the state, specifically in the county. Both forms just kind of talk about how these accounts work. I won't go through all the same stuff he did, but I can help anyone who needs 403Bs at the school. I'd love to help. I don't have anything else to say. I just repeat the same thing he did, so I won't bore everybody.
Do you want me to bring up that other slide?
Sure.
Is there anything on there that?
It really just talks about how the account works. I was kind of going through the process, and most of the things I talked about. It's good how much we could save in the. If we scroll down to page 3, it talks about contribution limits, how much we could put in and how they work. Give us kind of the numbers in specific, how the idea of a 403B or retirement planning fits in, and what the parameters are. And about the company, the ones we work with at New York Life. New York Life is a strong company. They've been in business almost 100, more than 175 years. I think it's 183 years now. Focusing on protection first, planning, life insurance, things like that. But they do a lot with the retirement world. This just talks all about the company's strength. And like Chris, I can meet on school or wherever people are meeting if they're looking to set up accounts or talk about how they work. I'd love to be a resource.
Chris, we can certainly work on seeing if we can schedule time for you to go to the school and meet with the staff, and we can reach out to you regarding that once we reach out to the school.
It's good.
And we do have all of your contact information on our employee portal and our wellness page. If anybody wants to get in touch with you, your contact information is available there.
I appreciate it. The products we can use with the county are they're very limited compared to Chris, so that's what mine went fast.
Yeah, we realize that your 403B is just the school, so we knew you were just for the school personnel, but it was important that you participated because they'll be listening to the recording as well if they're not attending today. So, Mike, we really appreciate your
Great. So I don't want to repeat everything he said. I don't want to waste everyone's time, but
time.
that Chris is really good. So
Thank you so much for attending today. I appreciate it.
all right. Thank you. I will talk to you guys soon.
I'm not sure if George is on. I do have one person on, but I'm not sure who it is.
I'm not sure who owner is, but I
Yeah.
have not seen George.
Yeah, I haven't either, but we still have we're a little bit ahead of schedule and we're a couple minutes ahead for him to sign on. He should be signing on any second now. Do you have anything to add, Michelle?
I don't have anything to add, except, I mean, everyone's done a great job, I think, today with their presentations. We haven't had a lot of questions. I think it's great that we're going to have this recording for all the employees. And if anyone has any questions after they watch the recording, reach out to either Maureen or I, and we can certainly get the answers for you.
Thank you.
Is my recording on yet?
That's
Oh,
George.
is
Hi,
that
George, your
George?
owner.
Hi.
We asked you if that was you, but you must not have heard us.
No, it was.
Yeah, you're ready for you to join.
I had
It
hit
has your
all
name
day.
as owner. It doesn't say George, it just says owner.
Well, I don't know who I'm the owner. I'm the owner of my cat, I think.
Oh, you were testing us.
Later. How come don't I come up on the screen, or what did I do wrong?
You might have your camera off.
Okay. Where would I find it?
So
On the bottom, you might see a little video. You just want to make sure that there's no line through that, and that will turn your camera.
I don't see. I see a like a microphone. I don't see a camera.
oh, it shows that your camera is on.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's mine. And I don't
Okay.
have a presentation for you. Did you
I think
send me a
Maureen had
presentation?
I thought that Maureen had something that was sent to her.
Yep, that's me. Let me look again.
Hi, Maureen.
Hi.
Still, now I'm just looking at a screen that says Zoom.
Okay.
Shoot, I don't see it. Video highlight, no.
It would be hard for him to follow what we have if he can't see what we have.
I kind of
Yeah.
have the same thing here too. You have the it's like a letter type of notice that Doug would have sent. I have it here as well. I could just read it. I'll make the
Well,
guys. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm not coming on. Maybe I broke the camera. I don't know. Boy, I comb my hair and everything.
Let me see. I don't have the presentation. Do you have it?
Yes, of course. Okay, I can. Want me to just do it verbally?
Yeah, why don't we just do that so we
Okay,
don't
trust me, I'm a real handsome guy.
well,
However,
it's too bad. But I'm glad that if we had the technical issues, it was at the very end. So
yeah, I just don't see. I mean, I've done these before. Very similar Zoom
Yeah.
meetings, and I've always had like an access to hit something to get on there, but I can't see what possibly it could be.
That's
But
okay,
it-
George. What we'll have you do is we'll have you read what you have, and then
Okay.
we'll schedule time like we usually do for you to come to both the school and the county to meet with employees. Does that sound
That'd be,
okay?
that'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
Sure.
because we can hear you fine. So you can just
Right.
present, what you have.
Okay. Basically, I do life insurance program for the county employees. And actually, we've done it. I represent the Boston Mutual plans when I'm working with the county employees. We've actually done it for 30 years. It was actually 1994 when it was first introduced. I can't believe it's 30 years, but it is. And there's a cash value permanent life insurance policy. It's called whole life insurance. For people who get confused about the different kinds of life insurance, generally the two ends of the spectrum are whole life insurance and term life insurance. Now, term, it's easy to remember in that it's good for a term of time, whether it be 20, 25 years, 30 years, usually the most is around 30 years. And that's if people are young enough. And then at the end of time, at the end of that term of time, they say, okay, well, I'm glad we were able to protect you and give you a lot of coverage for not too much money for those 30 years. But at the end of it, you've just bought your protection, and then you worked with the other guys for investments, and those went well for you. So you'd be in good shape at that point in time. A lot of people, however, would like to have some coverage at least that would last for the duration. And guess what that's called if you want something to last for your whole life? It's called whole life insurance. I do have through Boston Mutual whole life policies that I can offer to folks. And they're smaller plans because they last for the rest of your life. So naturally, it costs more per $1,000 of protection than a term life because the insurance company is not going to get off the hook when you get older. You might say, geez, that's why I need it. Well, that's why you would buy some permanent life insurance and maybe go along with some term life insurance that you may or may not already have. But those are the differences. This Boston Mutual Permanent Cash Value Plan we're able to do this year with no health questions for employees. For no health question for the employee, it could range anywhere from $2 a week up to $15 a week. And depending on how much you spend and if you're a younger employee or an older employee, naturally the younger person per dollar would get more coverage and the older person maybe would get less coverage because they're buying at an older age. But in all cases, the life insurance remains in place at the same price and doesn't change when you get older, including if you were to leave the workplace. If you leave the workplace, they would simply allow you to maintain your insurance policy and they would bill you at home, but the price would remain the same. We could do guaranteed issue for employees. We could do guaranteed issue for dependent children, basically 25 and under dependents. We could do grandchildren up to the age of 15. No health questions asked. If an employee wants to get more than what the $15 a week can buy for themselves, they can answer the health questions. And if they're generally in good health, they can purchase more. In the $15 range, depending on the age of the employees, a younger person may be up, $80,000 to $100,000 of permanent coverage. That's something that they're going to be able to have forever. So that's the nice thing is it's even going to take care of final expenses even 30 or 40 years from now when it's going to cost a whole lot more than what we're used to today. When I got in the insurance business 33 years ago, it didn't cost all that much for life and for employees to get just for their final expenses. Now, of course, it's more. Like just keeping with inflation. So if nothing else, these policies never lose ground and they never go up in price. The children and the grandchildren, we also could do. It could go up to 100,000 for the younger folks. Most times people in their 40s, 45, 50 years old might be picking up 25, 30, 35, $40,000 of coverage that will complement anything else that they have. I also have, and they're all portable. They're all portable at the same price. So nobody loses anything on these plans. And I help you work that through. I help you do the paperwork, and we get it as much as we can, get everybody covered. They also offer an accident plan. It's a very simple program for accident insurance where it covers about 30 different ways. The simplest way I can describe it is if you get injured and you need to go for medical treatment 24 hours a day on or off the job, any kind of accidental injury where you end up in, say, the emergency room and you're being treated, whether it's a big thing or a small thing, it's going to end up in a claim. It's going to end up in you being able to make a claim and receive some proceeds from the policy. There's of course, no health questions related to that as well. It also is 100% portable. And in that plan, a person could sign up just for themselves. They could sign up for themselves and the spouse. They could sign up if it was like a single parent family, themselves and the dependent children, or the entire family. And in all cases, with the accident plan as well, the rates never increase ever, and the plans are 100% portable when you leave the workplace. So I'd be happy to meet with anybody, be able to appreciate you having me here, at least in voice. I'm here in voice, voice from outer space. But probably in the next, couple 3 weeks or so, we want to get some things done and be able to help the folks out. We've done this for a long, long time. I think people have been generally happy so far. So I'd like to keep that going. I want to wish you all a happy Easter weekend, and thanks again for having me. Any questions?
There's no questions, George, at this time, but we will definitely reach out to you and schedule time like we have in the past.
I appreciate it, Michelle. And my phone numbers and everything, you have that, right?
We have all your contact information. We do.
And Maureen, did that go out on the email?
Yes, we have all your contact information on our employee portal and our wellness pages, and people can reach out to us too to get that as well.
Of course. Well, thanks again so much. Have a wonderful
thank you
weekend.
for coming, George. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. You take care.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
So, all the presentations that you've seen today will be on the employee portal or the wellness page for you to access. I want to thank everyone who participated in the virtual open enrollment today. We truly appreciate the time and engagement from all of our employees, as well as the support from our vendors and our technical support team that we had here who helped make this event a success. Your involvement and collaboration are what makes these events valuable and informative. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to Human Resources. And that is all for today. Thank you so much.